Hi, I'm Chris Fosdick. I lead PA's U.S. consulting business, where we bring ingenious ideas to life. We get pulled in to help clients solve their biggest, thorniest, most challenging problems, and we do it with creativity, technology, innovation, and of course, traditional consulting. In my day job, I also sit in our growth strategy practice, where I help clients identify, pursue, and commercialize opportunities targeting white spaces in their markets. Today, I am in our Boston studio, part of our global network of technology and innovation centers. We're going to have an opportunity to kind of go behind the scenes and talk to some of the strategists and innovators that do the ingenious work that we do here at PA. So now I'm here with Sonya Mead, who leads our digital experiences team. And Sonya, I would love to hear just a little bit about what you and your team do, the exciting work that kind of gets you out of bed in the morning.
Sure. So my team, the digital experiences team, focuses on user experience and user interfaces. And we've been doing a lot of work in the manufacturing space recently. And I think the reason is because a lot of companies, organizations are moving from a manual sort of interfaces to digital. And they want to capture the digital for a number of different reasons, both for things like predictive maintenance, but also to capture more information about their customers and what people are looking for. So one of the exciting programs that we worked on was our client had these sensor fields that would track fugitive methane gas. You tend to place these fields around oil and gas companies. So you can start to identify where there's leaks of methane gas coming out of the ground. We created the interface for the customer to sort of manage their property and make sure that their methane gases were kept intact in the ground. The client was really excited about the interface and asked us to consider reappropriating the platform for another program they were working on, which was tracking the vitality of engine oil within huge assets anywhere. Could be factories, could be ships, could be helicopters, anything. So just this idea of reappropriating a platform is super exciting for us.
So what would you say is different about what we do at PA when we're creating, designing these types of experiences?
I think because what we do differently here is that we have access to so many different capabilities. So we have data, we have digital and physical product, we have growth strategy, human insights, and all of those capabilities and expertise sort of feeds into a much broader understanding of user experience. What we bring to it is a real understanding of experience design. Our designers are critical thinkers. They have strong emotional intelligence. They're able to sort of critique and analyze kind of the larger experience and start to identify, this is what the business needs. These are the various systems we have to bring all together. These are the kind of pain points the various stakeholders, users, customers, passengers, patients are experiencing. How can we bring that all together? And I think because PA has access to so many capabilities and so many subject matter experts in these various sectors, that we have a much richer engagement.
So I am now in the Boston studio workshop with Catherine Hildersley, who's one of our mechanical engineers. And we're going to talk about the ingenious work that you do. But for starters, how would you describe your role and the way that you help clients solve challenges?
So I'm a mechanical engineer. I work on developing the physical parts of any of the products that we're doing. So those could be the mechanisms, it could be the robotics, it could be test rigs, any testing.
And what are examples of the really cool, fun work that you've done? Those kind of memorable stories that make you excited about being here and helping clients.
I don't know, there's so many. At the moment, I'm working on a piece of industrial robotics equipment. It's quite fun. It's we're working to automate a bunch of processes that are pretty risky in a very hazardous environment. So we're trying to get the human out of the nasty situation. Just before this, I've been working on a surgical robot for a while. The company is a pretty cool company. They're trying to essentially reimagine how surgery works now that we've got new tech and we've got robots and we can operate in so many different ways. So that's pretty fun.
It seems like every conversation that I have, there is a technology component of the work that we're doing. So as a mechanical engineer, how much has technology changed, influenced the way that you do your work versus it's actually, I'm doing the same thing and there are these little tweaks to it?
I think ultimately it's the same. In the rules of physics are the same. We're still, I think the heart of everything we do is still about people. It might be through technology and through a lens of what can we make and how precisely can we machine things or whatever it might be. It's still about people and about their problems and the things that they want to create.
Yeah.
Engineering at its heart, it's about problem solving and creating new things. And yes, the tips and tricks of software is a lot better than when I started. The ways we worked, they're always changing and adapting, but I don't know, I kind of think of that as like surface dressing on the same substance of how can we make whatever slice of the world we're looking at better for the people in it.
Now I'm with Andy Savarese, who leads our digital surgery practice. Can you just talk a little bit about how you use our capabilities and new and novel technologies to help clients solve tricky problems?
Sure, absolutely. So a lot of times clients come to us around AI and its applications in surgical care for one of two reasons. Either first, they're looking at this as the product because they know that it can augment decision-making, drive insights and efficiencies interoperatively. And so for those clients, we're helping them help design the digital user experience. We're also helping them with the algorithm itself. And most importantly, how do you structure the data to feed these platforms? These companies oftentimes are not born as digitally native. And so we've developed monetization strategies in addition to the product development that as they transition from a physical product company to one with digital assets, we're helping them to organize internally. What's the terminology that they need so that their commercial teams and their R&D teams are speaking the same language? And then most importantly, how do they monetize these platforms so that they can maximize the value that they generate in the surgical theater? Now, on the other side of the coin is you have companies that are a little bit more cautious, a little bit more risk averse. And a lot of them are trying to see how does this AI hype curve going to go ahead and play out. So for those companies, we take the approach of helping them generate an AI blueprint. And that takes the form of internal education. It can also take the form of use case development. We then move them into developing platforms that allow them not to use it as what they're going to be doing with their customers, but they're really driving efficiencies internally. So how do we maximize innovation? How do we move them through the R&D process? What platforms can they use for supply chain, manufacturing, procurement, so that they can start to realize the benefits of artificial intelligence in saving on time and therefore on cost in the product development pathway. Now, whether it's the first company making a product or the latter company that's just trying to get the efficiency from it, all of this is designed to improve the level of care for patients, and particularly within my area of digital surgery in that surgical setting.
So now I'm here with Charlie Paterson, who leads our work in clinical trials transformation. So to start off, Charlie, I'd love to just hear a little bit about the work you do and what's exciting and interesting about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great to be here. The work I do really starts when any pharmaceutical product leaves the lab environment. So we're working to help organizations accelerate that journey, condense timelines so that we can help get new therapies to patients faster. For us, that means really working hard to optimize critical parts of that process of developing drugs. That can relate to the technologies organizations are using. It can relate to how they design their studies and how they engage new populations. And it can involve finding new participants so that we can have really broad and diverse range of people that we're working with. and to identify and develop new therapies.
Obviously, the work that you and the team do is really cool. Can you kind of bring it to life in an example of what that looks like for how you work with a client and ultimately help them to a better outcome?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of one of my favorite projects just now relates to how you can introduce AI to the clinical development process in a safe way. So for a long time, drug development has continued in a very consistent process, and that involves many highly regulated steps. To enable that, there are very core and common technological solutions that large pharmaceutical companies and biotechs will be using as part of their drug process. But between those platforms, there's a huge opportunity to automate data flows and actions and to use AI to identify the next best step for users and for the trial. Essentially even going as far as modifying or influencing the direction of the study by saying, actually, we're seeing a signal here. We can adapt the study to focus on this particular population. Our work involves working very closely with the users of those systems and building layers of technology between these common platforms so that we can communicate between those different systems, so that we can enable the workforces to operate far more efficiently and effectively. And this solves a major problem for the industry. This is a highly skilled and technical area, and the need for pace in drug development is so significant, and the opportunity to test multiple therapies against multiple populations is resulting in a huge need for much more scale in the clinical trial space. We need more studies than ever, and we don't have an effective workforce who in the next 5 years will be able to deliver those studies. So we're helping organizations build and design and deliver new technologies just now that are going to replace some of those traditional roles and enable all of these therapies to be accelerated into the market and into the hands of patients who need them.